Good evening, everybody. Trying it the second time with the microphone turned on. Hopefully you can all hear me now. Alright, so we're here for round 2 of the Swim Experience South Africa TCR Championship. Did I say that right? Round 6 of the TCR Championship. A few changes being made. Mostly you can probably hear that your commentator is now myself, Dennis Mitchell. Monet Deploy has retired as our commentator and I'll be taking over. So that means you have a new championship leader in the likes of Stephen Castellan, Peter Grobler now in second, and Malvin Goos in third. So Malvin Goos, he messaged me a few moments ago asking about why he's got a weight penalty. Well, that's why, Malvin. So you now have a 40 kilogram ballast. So that will unfortunately slow you down quite a lot, as we can see in the times. So Malvin currently 7th fastest in practice. Peter in 6th. And Stephen Castellan has actually made it. He wasn't sure if he would make it, so he's here. He's in 16th. So going into qualifying, which we were supposed to jump in straight into qualifying, but unfortunately the gap between practice was a bit longer than expected. So it should change over any moment. If you guys can just let me know everything. Okay, mic is great. Cool. Great to hear. Thank you very much. So I'm not very experienced when it comes to a set of courses streaming side of things. So unfortunately there won't be many overlays and fanciness tonight. I'll have to do some work, and hopefully next week we can have a little bit more extras and more bling. But hopefully the racing tonight will make up for it. So we have quite a few different teams joining us tonight. We have, of course, some experienced guys. We have SRAC guys. We have the SSRL guys. And of course, they're all pretty fast and fighting at the front. We have a few new guys that have joined as well. So good luck to everyone that has joined. For tonight as well, I am using a auto camera. So it will automatically just follow the action and hopefully keep us up to date with everything that we need to see. With this particular auto camera, with the one that I use in R-Fact, I'm actually able to still manually change things even though it sort of fights me. But with this one, it doesn't seem to allow me. So hopefully it gives us some decent views. From the practice runs I've done, it seems to be pretty decent in following the action. Hopefully I have everyone's skins correct as well, so everything looks better. From what I see, it looks right. So just going by practice times, it looks like Basil van Rijn is going to be the pace setter tonight, and possibly Gilly hot on his heels. Jason Nelson looking good for SSRL. Dylan Versaki, so the 3 SSRL guys right up there. SRAC driver at the top. Tommy Mosnar sticking it in 6th place, so he's also got the pace here. I think the guys with the ballots are going to struggle. At the previous round, Watkins Glen, with the elevation changes there and the sort of pretty steep elevation changes, I had a 50 kilogram ballast there that was definitely making the car bog down a lot. So I think here with the flatter terrain, it's probably not going to be as bad, but I'm sure it's still going to hinder them quite a lot. So with the new ballast regulations, it's definitely changing the running order a bit and slowing down the faster guys, which it's designed to do. Cleopas also saying everything looks good. Thanks, Cleopas. And JB as well, thanks. Is that JB Jason? I presume it is. How's it, Jason? Now that we're in qualifying, we have a 15-minute qualifying session before we do a double 20-minute race with a full reverse grid second race. So currently, not many drivers have done a time, only 7 drivers have a time on the board. Ross Human is the current driver that's sitting in last place, which is 7th place. That's not a very relative time, so I presume that's just an outlap time. As I'm looking at trying to see, I've got a lot more information than I usually have in different places, so things aren't quite what I'm used to. From when we did our MX5 races around Poznan, it's a fantastic track for racing. But of course the MX5s are rear-wheel drive and these cars are front-wheel drive. And the nature of, for example, turn 1, it's a very long hairpin that's constantly tightening on you. I think in the front-wheel drives it's going to give the guys a hard time, especially as the tyres wear. And the guys with extra weight are probably going to struggle the most there. As we see, Mika heading off somewhere. Mika just exploring the spare chicane that's there, the alternate chicane. We see the SSRL guys driving in tandem here, so I wonder if they're going to do some bump drafting to help each other up perhaps. Bump drafting, for those that don't know, is when you have the driver sitting on the bumper of another driver, just nudging him along. What actually happens is the driver that's behind is in the slipstream, so even if the cars have identical speed, because you're behind and so close, you go a fraction faster without the resistance of the drag, and you bump the car in front of you, it nudges that car forward slightly, and your speed actually increases. It comes at a risk though. Guys can sometimes knock each other off by doing that, or just make mistakes trying to get into the perfect slipstream for a bump draft, but it's been done in all kinds of racing. It's probably most well known for being used in NASCAR racing. And there you have packs of 10, 20, 30 sitting on each other's bumper going around the track. It's kind of like you see with the guys that do cycling when they have the pack and the leader takes his turn because he uses more energy than the rest. Right, so looking at the times again, Ross is still in 7th place, but this time there are several other drivers that have done times, and Ross's time is a lot better than what it was earlier. So he's currently on 137.7, and Dylan Fasaki is now currently on provisional pole on a 136.7. So that's quite a blisteringly hot lap compared to 2nd place, which is a 37.1 from Basil van Rijn. Dylan, having been very lucky to upgrade his brakes recently, seems to have paid off. Going from sort of cheapish standard pedals to load cell pedals. He's loving it. So enjoying life in the winner's lane, in the winner's circle again. Of course, Dylan is our current MX5 champion from the previous MX5 championship we ran. He won that fantastic prize, which was provided to us by Tommy. And speaking of Tommy, he now goes into 3rd place on a 137.222. Pretty close with Steven, who's now in 4th place, and Sean Olivier in 5th. So our top 5 at the moment: Dylan Fasaki, Basil van Rijn, Tommy Moss, Stephen Castellan, and Sean Olivier. as we see some of the drivers connecting and disconnecting. That's another setting I'll need to address as an option to have that not show, so that you hopefully don't see it on screen every time that message pops up. So Dylan improving even further, 36.4, so he's now currently, wow, 7 tenths. 7 tenths ahead. That's an eternity in these cars. That's amazing. As we go with Mika, is Mika going to head for a good lap at the moment? The cameraman seems to think so. He's following him. I'm just looking at the sector times. I don't see anything lighting up at the moment. Maybe it's up. Well, it's personal best, but 37.1. Pretty close battle for second at the moment, but it doesn't look like anyone's capable of challenging Dylan today. That's fantastic liquid molly skin of Sean Olivier. Now Sean, finally someone else jumps into the 36s. Sean taking a 36.8. So now Sean is 0.4 off Dylan Fasaki. So this is a turnout for the books. Our current championship leader, Stephen Caslin, currently in 6th place. Of course, he has a 50 kilogram ballast, so he must be really not enjoying the extra weight. Peter Krobler, our 2nd place championship runner-up, I guess, in the championship currently, in 7th place, and Marvin Coase in 10th place with a 40 kilogram ballast. So I think the racing, and certainly the second race, is going to give us some interesting results. Of course, we see Peter with his fantastic skin, JTL. I'm not sure if it's JTL or JTL Monster. I know he's got the Monster stuff on the car, but yeah, looks fantastic. VFS saying that Mika has finished his homework and come to take pensions. So as always, I'm in the commentary booth. I'm never ever alone. Even though I'm sitting with no human next to me, I'm always joined by my squeaky chair. It's always the two of us. Basil's in the 36s. We now have Jason Nowell in the 36s. So finally some competition for Dylan. In fact, Basil has taken provisional pole on a 36.2. Wow, that was a good one. Just when we were thinking that Dylan's going to stand uncontested tonight, it's just over a tenth faster than Dylan at the moment. Mika Abrams currently still in 5th place, but he's in the pit, so he probably can get out for one more flying lap if he wanted to. Possibly even a second flying lap, but I don't think so. Dylan now pitting. So current track temperature is 28 degrees and the air temperature is 17 degrees, so it's kind of cool. I'm not sure how that's going to be affecting the tires. Usually in real world conditions, cooler temperatures will create tire tear. But I'm not too sure how that's going to affect these cars tonight. And as we go on board, well, not on board, we see Dion, that's one of our new drivers, so welcome Dion. Great to have us with us. I think my headphones are too loud, I can't hear myself talk, so I'm not sure if I'm saying the correct thing half the time. Let's turn them down a bit. mad rush getting this all ready for tonight, so unfortunately some of the things aren't quite the way I'd like them, but they will improve hopefully for the next one. With Andre Hildebrandt. So currently, apart from Marius, who is currently last place to first place, we have about a 3-second gap. Looks like Tommy's been off somewhere. Oh no, that's not Tommy, that's Mario, I think. Right, let's see, is Ross going to improve? Maybe Melvin's going to improve, since we're now on board with Melvin. Yep, camera changes again back to Ross. So I guess Melvin and Ross are the two drivers that are currently on good laps. Ross had a personal best in Sector 1, but an average second sector. Melvin's on a personal best in Sector 1 as well, but unfortunately he's got a SSRL car right on his tail. I'm not sure which one that is. Right, let's see, is Ross going to improve? He does. He pinches 7th place from his, well, I presume it's his teammate Steven. Teammates in the Formula 4 series, but I'm not sure if they're teammates here. Identical times as well. Both on a 137.244, and Tommy in front of them on a 137.222. Those are pretty close times. So Melvin also again personal best first sector, average middle sector, and he does improve but only to 10th. Also not the greatest final sector. So Sean Olivier finished with qualifying, Jason Nell finished with qualifying, Gilly Silvers finished with qualifying, as is Jean-Luc Dippenau, as is Marvin Koos, as has Maurice van Beek, as is Dion, so they're all crossing the line in quick succession. Yeah, as Cleopas is saying, look at that split from 6th to 8th, and it's incredible, eh? From 5th place to 9th place, it's sort of 1.5 tenths, 2.5 tenths. See Stephen coming through with his toilet paper on the front of his car. Stephen is still on for it, so let's see if Stephen, at the moment, his sector's nothing to write home about. Don't know why the cameraman's deciding to look at everyone else. Is Mika possibly going to improve? Mika's got a average first sector but a personal best middle sector. So maybe Mika can be the final driver to do a lap and improve as well. You just see the understeer as he gets on the power. The frustration of a front wheel drive. And it does not improve. But that's it for qualifying. So we currently have Basil van Rijn in pole, Dylan Versaki on the front row, Sean Olivier in 3rd, Jason Null in 4th, Mika Abrams 5th, Tommy Leary Moss in 6th, Ross Human in 7th, Stephen Castellan in 8th, Peter Kroblar in 9th, Melvin Goos in 10th, Gilly Silver in 11th, Jean-Andre Dippenau in 12th, Dion Herzenberg in 13th, Mario Claessens in 14th, Andre Hildebrandt in 15th, Rian van der Westhuizen in 16th, and Mario van Beek in 17th. So I'm going to jump to an ad break, and when I come back we will be starting race 1. Catch you in a moment. Alright, welcome back everyone. Sorry I had the camera on the wrong piece of everything there, but nothing seems quite right. I'll fix it for the next one. Right, as we get ready to go. Ready for race 1. Having a look at Gilly Silver. Let's see how they pull away. A clean start by the looks from everyone. No one getting sideways. Someone was going down the middle. I think it was Stephen Castellan possibly. So Basil getting a great clean start from Dylan. Oh, someone going wide there. Was that Gilly? Looked like it was Gilly. I see he's tumbling down the times. Hopefully he doesn't have any damage. I'm not sure what happened to Mika. Mika dropping down to 16th already. So Jason Nell now up to 4th and Stephen Castellan up to 4th, taking that place now. Now Stephen going down and Tommy up to 4th. So all sorts of action happening here. You see Tommy leading quite a pack there. Fantastic livery of Warriors. Can't remember which anime that's all about, but nice looking skin. So Basil coming under increasing pressure from Dylan, just sitting nicely within half a second, and now down to 0.3 of a second. You see Mika slowly making his way forward again, now up to 12th place, sitting right behind Gilly. So I'm not sure if Gilly and Mika had a coming together going into turn 1. I saw Gilly going well, but I didn't see what happened with Mika. Greetings to everyone in the channel. Was Cleopas, our regular. I think he sits here waiting for us. Doesn't do anything else with his life, just sits waiting, refreshing the YouTube button. Always good to have you, Cleopas. Craig Wesley, good to have you as well. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you here. And then Monet Fishi. Sorry, I pronounced it all wrong. Totally butchered that. And all the other guys, Melvin, Donnie, Yilka, Farouk Adams, Denise Abrams, sorry, Farouk Abrams. Not sure what's wrong with my tongue tonight. But welcome everyone. If I've missed anyone, please scream your loudest in the channel. Right, so Basil's still holding off Dylan. Gap's exactly the same, 0.03. As we currently look at Andre. Now we go on board with Dylan. Dylan pressing hard to keep up with and to pressure Basil. Will Basil succumb to the pressure? Of course we have Sean Olivier in 3rd, lurking, and now we have Tommy in 4th, still just sitting there nicely. The pack that was behind Tommy seems to have split up slightly. So Jason Nell seems to be pulling away, but it looks like Ross Humans slowly falling back from Jason. We have Jean-Andre Dubenard doing well in 8th position at the moment. And I believe it's Dion in 9th place. I'm sorry if I got the name wrong. The first race with us, forgive me if I have it wrong. Mika Abrams now currently in 10th place, so slowly working his way forward. Melvin Khoos now getting past Gilly Silver. Nice move up the inside there into turn 1. Bit of netcode issue there for Gilly. They're getting really close to each other here. This is one of those tracks that's really fantastic, the flow of it, you can really stay close to each other. Unfortunately, it looks like Gilly was going to go up the inside and the camera changed. So Gilly and Melvin are getting really getting their fists out and changing places a few times by the looks of it. Looks like Mika might go around the outside of Mario, and he does. And looks like Melvin managed to sneak it through there as well. I'm not sure what happened with Mario there. Looks like he hesitated slightly and the guys just pounced on him. He lost all momentum and that was it. The 3 guys basically have come past now. Sometimes it just goes like that. You just lose your footing slightly and then the guys pounce. Especially in such a close competition as this. And for some reason, Peter Kobla is in 16th, so not sure what happened to Peter, as we saw him there with Morris and Blake directly behind him. And he's sitting right behind Rian van der Westhuizen. Looks like he's going to go up the inside of Rian. It's quite close. There's a little bit of a flicker from Peter's car as well. I'm not sure what that is from. Hopefully he doesn't have any internet connections. He looks like he's lost a little bit of drive there. Being on the inside, he obviously couldn't get on the power quite as early. But he's managed to get past Morris and... No, he hasn't. The timing screens is going back and forth. It's close. So at the front, Basil has actually slightly increased his lead. Well, I say slightly. It's got it over a second now, actually. 1.2 from Dylan and 1.5 to Sean. So Mario now sitting very close to Steven. So Steven has gone backwards as well. Steven being our championship leader, he's going to lose quite a lot of points here. So at the moment, our top 3 in the championship, Steven Castellan is in 12th place. Melvin Gross is currently in 9th. And Peter Groba is in 17th. He's in the pits at the moment, so I'm not sure what's happened to Peter. But he's decided to pit. I hope for his sake he decides to rejoin. Yes, he has. Okay, because if he doesn't rejoin, he won't get pole position in race 2. So that could be a little bit of strategy that can play out if you're in a bad position. Make sure you finish the first race and you'll have pole position in the second race. If you don't finish it, you won't get pole position and you'll start last. So interesting the way that the positions are playing out for the championship. Let's see if I can actually get the championship points up there while we're busy with this. I unfortunately don't have the overlays and things for all of that, so I'm just going to have to read it out to you. So I have pulled out of the championship to do the streaming, so your current leader in the championship is Steven Castellan on 158 points. In second place is Peter Krobler on 157 points. Third place is Melvin Gross on 147 points. Melvin is going to gain quite a few points here tonight. Dylan Versaki, I think, is going to be the biggest gainer. He's on 145 points in fourth place. Jason Nell in fifth place. Mika Abrams in sixth. Acebat Atinacho is seventh. Ross Human in eighth. Kitty Silva is in ninth. Basil van Rijn is in 10th place. So all to play for. So what is the points cap? So Basil, who is in 10th in the championship, is sitting on 57 points, and Steven is on 158. So that's just your top 10. So I think tonight there'll be a massive haul of points for Basil and for Dylan. So they, I think, are going to climb quite handsomely. I think Dylan is going to become a serious contender for the championship, and he might even end up with a little bit of ballast in the next race. Kitty right behind Mika at the moment. A nice pack of 5 at the moment. Nice and tight. So Tommy Moss closing in on Jason Nell. Has Tommy got the pace to pass, and has he got the pace to then catch and chase down Sean Olivier for a podium position? So it looks like Basil has definitely got the pace on Dylan tonight, as we see Melvin making a slight mistake, running off. Has Melvin got a problem? He seems like he's maybe pulled over. Unfortunately, he's dropping down the times pretty fast. I wonder if his wheel has maybe decided to play up again. I know he's had issues with his wheel. Not sure which wheel he's using currently, but he did get other wheels, but his main wheel, the direct drive, the wheel that I think he enjoyed the most, tends to give him a few issues. So if we see Melbourne disconnect and carry on, and then perhaps that was the issue, but it looks like he's still driving. So we currently have Melbourne and Peter at the back. They are our third and second place drivers in the championship, so very interesting. As we were looking there at Morris, I'm like, I really love that skin of Morris. It's with the old Ken Hunter Extreme X on it. For those of you that don't know, the reason why I am very fond of Ken was one of the drivers that have raced certainly with us since the beginning until he passed away last year, sadly. And he was also one of the few drivers that we have with us. We have several of them that have raced at the original Kyle Army. They used to race Formula V's around there. Harvey Coase and Ken Hunter used to race together. Now they were fortunate enough to race the old track as we see Melvin disconnect. So hopefully Melvin will sort his wheel out and reconnect. And if he at least gets going again, then he'll get pole position for round 2. Sorry, for race 2. Race 2 of round 6. You see Tommy's car with a KDP sponsor on the side. KDP, of course, was our sponsor for our trophy for the MX-5s last year. They gave us that fantastic laser cut wood MX-5 car that Dylan won. It was absolutely fantastic. Now in 9th place, courtesy of, I believe that's courtesy of Melvin's falling out of the race, but it doesn't look like Mika's got the pace to challenge at the moment. He seems to be struggling to come through the field. As we see a few of them, as I say that, as he's now coming through the field. Running slightly wide, he's going to go on the grass. I think he's just saved it, but he might have lost a bit of momentum. But he is on the inside now, so he'll at least be able to defend in this double left-hander coming up. Oh, we saw the tail end of the car getting up in the air there. It's really close here. Oh, a little bit of touching there. Oh, I think he managed to not spin. That's the beauty of front-wheel drive. You get it sideways, but you put down and pulls it straight. So a little bit of barging there, but thankfully not too much time was lost. Right, so Mika looks like he is on the charge. But once again, he's in 9th place, sitting behind Gilly. He briefly got past. Hairpin, well, not hairpin, but sort of almost like a hairpin coming up. It's particularly difficult on the front end cars, front wheel drive cars. Alright, so on the previous lap, Dylan Visaki set the fastest middle sector. And his lap time was about 0.2 faster than Basil, so is this the time that Dylan is now starting to close? Let's keep an eye on that gap. It's currently 1.5 seconds, 1.6 seconds, fluctuating. Let's see if that starts to close. So at the moment, one of our biggest or closest gaps is Tommy and Jason. So that'll be for 4th place. And of course, Mika and Gillian. Mika now goes up the inside of Gilly. I'm not sure what happened to Gilly there. I think he might have just got a bit loose on the brakes. I know the previous lap his tail came around coming into that corner. Actually, the inside wheel seemed to lift off the ground as he turned in and braked. So Stephen is now ahead of Mika. I think Mika might have just backed off. Maybe Mika's under the impression that it was his fault. I'm not sure if it was. I didn't see it. So Basil has now got the fastest middle sector. And the gap to Dylan is still increasing, so I think they are just pushing each other. Lap times are constantly increasing. Previous lap time for Basil and for Dylan. Basil 136.3 and Dylan 136.1. The lap that they've just completed, they were both 136.2. 136.234 for Basil and 136.211 for Dylan. So incredibly close. And the gap now showing at 1.3 seconds, so now 1.2. So I guess as they're going through different sectors, Dylan seems to be closing more in the final sector, and Basil seems to pull away sort of in the middle sector. And on the previous lap, Dylan had the fastest final sector. So the gap down to 1.1 seconds with just under 5 minutes left. 5 minutes plus a lap. So lots of close battles, but I'm surprised the pack is actually spread out quite a lot. Right, so our current running order is Basil van Rijn in first place, Dylan Versace in second, Sean Olivier doing great for podium position, Jason Nell hot on his heels, 2 seconds behind, Tommy Leary Moss falling back slightly from Jason in 5th place now, Ross Human doing solid job in 6th place, Jean-Andre Duppenaar also a solid job, 7th place, Stephen Castellan, our championship leader, 8th place, Dion Hotzenberg in 9th place, Mika Abrams in 10th, and Gilly Silva 11th, Mario Claessens 12th, Andre Hildebrand 13th, Rian van der Westhuizen 14th, Mario van Dijk 15th, Peter Krobler 16th, and Melvin Koos still shows us disconnected in 17th, so he hasn't yet rejoined. So fingers crossed that Melvin can join before the start of the next race. Then at least he can get pole position and hopefully salvage something from the round. Plus, I think if he finishes this, he'll at least get more points than if he doesn't finish the race. And welcome to Wacky Wayne. Wayne, good to see you again. Ati Nacho, how's it, Ati? Mike McGear, also welcome. Marvin did have a mechanical issue, I presume it was then his wheel. Thanks, Mike. Do you perhaps know, Mike, if Marvin will be able to make the second race, or possibly join before the end of this race so that he can maybe get pole position for race 2. He's got just over 2 minutes to join. Obviously there'll be another lap after that, so it's probably closer to 3 minutes. Now for his sake I hope so, because he'll definitely lose a lot in the championship if he can't make it. I guess the benefit of that is he won't have to have ballast for the next round. And the ballasts are really a nightmare. The 50 kilogram ballast it's extremely heavy, and you definitely feel it on acceleration. The car just does not want to go. As your tires wear as well, you tend to get a lot more understeer. Back here quickly, right. So, a minute and a half to go. We see Steven right on the tail of Jean-Andre. Steven can do with every point he can get. I think Steven really wants this championship. He's going for it. Last round at Watkins Glen, Stephen had an incident in the race, but managed to still salvage points. So that's what you sometimes need to do in these close championships, is just take what you can get when you don't have your days, and then just wait for the right ones. Stephen, with their car being as heavy as it is, he's going to have to get used to the heavy car if he's going to be fighting for the championship. He's going to have that weight for the rest of the season. So Andre having a nice dice here with Mario. Andre looking nice and smooth, Mario looking a little bit more ragged. So possibly Andre's looked after his tyres a little bit better. That's the thing with these front wheel drives as well, you can burn out your tyres very quickly by getting on the throttle just a little bit too hard. Doing that sort of constantly, and your grip just doesn't last when you get to the end. Very different driving style, front wheel drive to rear wheel drive, your throttle application. Being so patient on the throttle actually helps the car to rotate. If you're aggressive on the throttle, it will just understeer. Looking at Mario going up the inside. Mario, I think, just running slightly wide, locking up slightly. In the end, making it quite easy for Andre, but now Mario seems to have a little bit better drive. Is he going to, yeah, looks like he's going up the inside. Is he going to run wide? Is he going to keep it? Andre's got it. Andre just keeping a nice, clean, tight line and making it easy. Sound fantastic. They don't sound that great when they're bouncing on the grass there. Yeah, very true, RT. He's saying in the channel that in real life you have engine failure and so on. In virtual racing you have wheel and pedal and PC failure. They're just locking up slightly. Now these cars definitely start to lock up a lot easier as the tyres are warm, and then the car just won't rotate on the brakes. So you have to change your brake bias just to try and compensate, but then you get more wear as well from that. Still keeping an eye on any rejoins possibly for Melvin, so fingers crossed for him. Hasn't yet rejoined. So currently if Melvin rejoins, he will be joining and starting last, or possibly even from the pits. So Basil takes the win. Well done to Basil. Fantastic victory there. Great second place for Dylan and a fantastic third place for Sean. That was a great race. Jason L taking fourth. Tommy Leary Moss comes across the line in fifth. And Ross Human was closing in on him nicely there towards the end, taking a nice sixth place. Stephen Castellan coming around the final corner. Jean-Andre Dupinal close behind him. So seventh for Stephen, eighth for Jean-Andre. We have Gilly in 10th. Nika 11th, Andre 12th. Andre coming up to the final corner and Mario sitting right behind him. Pretty Krobler having picked up a few places towards the end. So Pretty Krobler will be starting third by the looks of things in race 2. So a nice solid starting position for race 2 at least. Just those extra 2 places might make it a little bit easier. Well, I say those 2 extra places, the extra points for those 2 places. So I'm curious to see how the points will be after this, but I'm pretty sure at the moment Stephen will still be our championship leader, but I think Dylan will be very close now. So once we finish race 2 of round 6, I will get the points out when we go to interviews, and we can just see the current standings and see if my guesswork was right. But in the meantime, let's jump to an ad break. I'll catch you shortly. Right, welcome back everybody to race 2 of round 6 at Tor Poznan. So we have Marius van der Wijk in pole position from Rian van der Westhuizen, from Peter Krobler, from Mario Claessens, from Andre Hildebrandt. And let's see how the pack changes position as we get going. Nice clean start for everyone. Who's going to be the bravest coming through the pack? So we see contact showing up on our timing screen at the moment. Several drivers. I guess it's just bumper to bumper contact. Oh, there we see some contact in the back. Look like Dylan Versace, he's spinning around there. Peter Krobler going up the inside of Marius here. Nice clean pass, as close as you like it. A little bit of pushing on the outside there. Oh. Marius not giving it up easy. Rian looking to challenge. I think if Peter didn't have the extra ballast there, that would have been easy, but he just couldn't get the power down quick enough. Very hard to keep momentum up when you've got the extra weight. And Mika Abrams now sneaking up into third, coming to the fight. So we see Mario going backwards through the back here. So currently Marius van Wyk still leading the race, from Peter Grobler now taking the lead. So some of our drivers here will be joining us for our Formula 4 race on Saturday as well as Hilke Verenigher. And Hilke, we have the BMW Cup coming up after the Formula 4, that's going to be fantastic. Hilke, of course, getting a very famous victory over me last night in a practice race. Well, just air that for you, Hilke. Congratulations. So back to the racing here. We see Steven going wide there, getting a front wheel drive to drift, and unfortunately colliding with the wall. How much place has he lost? He's down to 14th place at the moment. So how much can Steven fight back? We see lots of carnage in race 2 usually, with the slower guys coming through the back. So at the moment we have Mika Abrams in first, Peter Kolba now in first, so they're exchanging places. Rian sitting nice in third at the moment. Marius van Wyk in fourth. Andre Hildebrandt in fifth. Ross Human in sixth. Jason Mel in seventh. Tommy Ewing Moss in eighth. Sean Olivier, our podium runner from round 1, sitting in 9th place at the moment. Basil van Rijn on race 1 winner in 10th place. Jean-Ray Dupinot in 11th. Gilly in 12th. Steven is now up to 13th. I think that's because Dion has gone backwards, because it looks like Steven and Dylan have got past him. And Mara in 16th. Right, we see Mika sitting nicely with Peter at the moment. So Rian still in third place. Jason Nell now going up the inside into turn 1. Will he run wide? Looked like he's braking quite late. He was quite close to him. I'm not sure if Andre will get better drive out of turn 1 because of his tighter line. It doesn't look like it. Looks like the gap's increasing. And Ross Human sitting nice and close behind Andre now. You see Ross there in his Honda. Ross take a look up the inside of Andre, possibly into the next right-hander. That is an opportunity there. He's very close, but nope. But somehow Tommy seems to run wide. Right, Sean Olivier in 7th, coming forward slowly. Unfortunately down to 10th place now. Grant van der Veste is currently in 2nd place. I'm not sure what happened with Mika. Mika's gone back and now Rian is in 2nd at the moment, as you see. I believe that was Marius getting a bit sideways there. And now he's got Gilly up the inside of him, and Marius moving over on Gilly. So the back for 2nd, back down to 13th, fairly close. Oh, really close here with Dylan and Steven. Dylan keeping it nice and tight, as I think we see. Is that Marius in front of them? No, it is Rian, so Rian has happened off. Rian and Marius's skins look very similar. I believe they're the same extreme skins. So I'm not sure what happened to Rian there. He was running in 2nd place, so possibly a contact with Mika, because Mika is also down in 10th place now, so maybe Mika went for a move and we didn't see him or something happened. So Andre is still sitting solid in 6th place, so good position so far for Andre. Andre's also had some pretty decent pace, so it's going to be difficult for the guys to pass him. Tommy getting right up behind him, and now unfortunately Andre running slightly wide on the exit, and Tommy getting past quite easily. And it looks like, was that Gilly? Gilly getting it sideways there. Andre now up the inside. No, Gilly's got it. Has had a disconnect. Right, so Mika's sitting on Andre's bumper at the moment. Going up the inside, will he be able to hold it tight? Looks like it's Andre locking up slightly, looked like a rear right locker. Probably running quite a heavy rear bias to get the car to turn. The Alpha that Andre is running is one of the most nimble of the cars. Gaps are pretty much within a second almost everywhere, apart from 3rd to 2nd and 10th and 9th and 14th to 13th. Pretty much every other one is within a second of each other. So very competitive lap times at the moment. Obviously in a pack they can't drive as they'd like to. Peter Croft are doing well to hold off Jason L at the moment, and Ross Human up to 3rd place, so Ross under attack now from Basil. Basil is almost at the point, now he's at 0.5 of a second, so closing in on him. So Ross is going to be under attack soon. And of course Sean Olivier is now up to 5th as well, so he's having a good drive through race 2. Solid podium in race 1, currently 5th here. Moment, I think Basil would be our overall round winner with a victory and currently 4th. Sean Olivier would probably be 2nd with a 3rd and a 5th. Unfortunately Dylan, being a 2nd place in round 1, is having had that off, is only so far recovered up to 11th. But halfway through the race, so we've still got a bit of extra time. Is that Marius going wide there? Yes, it is. So looking at the timing screens at the moment, we see Tommy, Jean-Andre and Dion and Melvin. Of course Melvin is in the race. I didn't realize Melvin actually was in the race. 2 laps down, so I guess he's only joined them, but at least he'll get some solid points for joining. We now have Jason now with the fastest middle sector. Sean Olivier with his personal best in the middle, Andre personal best in the middle. So the guys are slowly improving their times. Look now at Jean-Andre. Will you get him into turn 1 maybe? See the Jason now and Basil battle going on for 2nd place. So Basil got past Ross and made quick work of that, and he's straight away closed down to Jason. Oh sorry, I've got that wrong. He's just past Ross. It's Ross that was in the shop, not Jason. You see Sean lurking in the background there as well. Problem with these cars, they're so close, and if you get into a battle and you just slow each other down a little bit, you end up with 1 or 2 other guys now fighting, and you have to defend from them. You go even slower, and then you lose momentum, and it just go backwards. Schumacher now in 8th place. So he's probably had an incident in the beginning, and that's why he moved down. Probably waited a bit for whoever he had the incident with, which I believe might have been Rian. And he's slowly been working his way back up. So Dylan has got past Jandre. How quick can he move his way forward now? He's got Andre in front of him. A great race too by Jandre as well. Stephen Castellan sitting slowly behind him, moving forward as well. After that incident going off into the barrier earlier, he's slowly making his way forward. Every point counts for him at this point in time. I think he's going to lose his championship lead, but it's going to be very close. There was a gap between second and third, so he'll still be pretty close. Let's have a look at our championship points and see if they've been updated. They have. So coming into race 2 of round 6, Stephen Castellan was our championship leader on 170. Dylan was up to second on 164. Peter Grobler had dropped down to third on 162, and Jason Null was up to fourth. And Melvin Host down to fifth. So there are a few movers and shakers there. And most notably, I think, is Dylan. Dylan now up to second and having a pretty decent race so far, but not as good as he would like. But he is ahead of Stephen. Stephen currently only 6 points ahead of him, which means 3 places. So it's incredibly close between the two of them for the championship. So I think Stephen might just hold on to the championship lead, although currently Peter Grobler, I think, will take the lead because he's sitting nice in the lead at the moment and actually only 8 points behind in the championship. So as it plays out, it's going to be incredibly close after this. But we will give you an update on that as we head into the interviews after this. But still 6 minutes to go. Melvin Hoos having got past Mario Claessens, I guess because he's done enough laps to pass Mario having retired. So he's at least picked up an extra 2 points for that. And that's important in the championship for Melvin. As you see, the championship points are incredibly close. Every point counts. Rian van der Beste has also slowly moved forward a bit after that incident. He was down to 16th, he's now up to 13th, so making progress. We have all sorts of movement in the middle of the pack to the front. We have Gilly in 6th and Mika now 7th. So I think Mika just getting past Tommy and now catching up to Gilly. And Dylan is also now up to 9th place. So I believe someone moved backwards there, and I think that was Andre Hildebrandt. So Peter Grobler holding off Jason Null currently. Basil van Rijn 1.5 seconds back and slowly closing in, I think. Sean Olivier now in 4th place, having got past... Was it past Ross, or was it just because someone went off? Jason now having a good look here at Peter. I think Peter was saying in one of the interviews, possibly the previous round, was saying he doesn't like the pressure of leading. And here he is leading again. I guess it's better to lead than to not lead. Peter's slowly faster in that sector. He's slowly increasing the gap again as Jason was getting really close in the previous sector. Looks like Jason's now once again right up to him. It's showing red there, so there we go. Jason's now side by side with him and actually slightly ahead. Unfortunately the camera is following still. There we go, we kind of saw what was happening there. And Basil was right there with him as well. Now this could play out severely for Peter in the championship. Peter needs to fight this. He can't let it go. If Peter gets this victory, then he's in contention for the championship. He'll probably take the lead in the championship. If he drops down to third, which is looking like he possibly could, he's going to lose probably 4 points. Those 4 points at the moment are massive, considering how close it's going to be. And if he drops down those 4 points, then possibly Dylan Vasaki will take the lead in the championship. As we see our Alwyn banner across the bottom, so good time to say thank you very much to Alwyn for sponsoring us and keeping us going and keeping the lights on. Without them this wouldn't be possible. And if you're enjoying the content, please remember to like and subscribe. Every like you give us and every thumbs up and comment in the channel and all that helps us to grow, helps us be more visible and be on other channels' radars for more sim racing content. As we see Peter now down to third place, so unfortunately yes, he's dropped down. As we see Melvin sitting with them, they're having a bit of fun. Hopefully he doesn't end up affecting the championship. He of course is several laps down. Nice battle there between Tommy and I believe it was Mika Abrams. Dylan Vasaki now getting past Mika Abrams. No, Mika fighting back. That's close. And you see of course Steven and Ross I believe having a nice battle there as well. Of course they had coming together at the previous round, so hopefully it doesn't end in the same manner. Looking good so far. Now we see who's that? Jeandre taking a look up the inside. It was quite a tight line. Really looking to capitalize, and he does. And Ross unfortunately now drops 2 places. Ross taking a nice tighter line there up the inside, squaring it off a bit. Looks like he'll get the position back, and he does. But now he's going to be on the outside in this part of the track, which is probably going to help Gilly because the next is also a left and then into a right. So I think Ross actually managing to hold off the challenge of Gilly. And that's another thing to consider. Every car is unique, and as we go to the various different tracks, we're seeing different cars seem to thrive better than others. The Alfa Romeo being the one with the shortest wheelbase seems to be the most nimble and seems to suit the tighter tracks. I actually thought it would do a little bit better around here. But then Steven does have a 50 kilogram ballast and he's still pretty competitive. The Audi seems to be pretty competitive at pretty much at any track. The Lincoln Co unfortunately seems to be a very heavy car, and with the longer wheelbase seems to suit the more flowing tracks. Doesn't seem to like it. So, oh, Mickey coming right up there. That was close. Take avoiding action a little bit there. Nice tight lines there. Nicola looking good at the closing stages of the race. Also probably going to pick up another place here, judging by the speed showing, or maybe even 2 if he can get Tommy in front as well. So Dylan's having to defend pretty hard from Mika while trying to attack Tommy. But if Dylan can get past Tommy, that would definitely put him in the lead of the championship. But unfortunately, Mika's giving him a real hard time as they start the final lap. So Basil has now started the final lap. So Basil is going to get the W today by the looks of things. Jason now probably going to get second, and Peter Probla most likely will be our final podium position. So Gilly on the previous lap had the fastest final sector, so he's got the speed, he just can't get through the traffic. And that's the unfortunate thing when you're coming through the reverse grid. It's the different lines of the different drivers, the different braking points, they break your momentum. It doesn't matter how fast you are, if your momentum gets broken, it's incredibly difficult. So you need to kind of change your lines a bit, get momentum, run slightly wide, square it off, try and catch the guy a little bit off guard. But if they defend you slightly, then you have to brake or ease off, and then you lose momentum, and if you've got someone behind you, that guy will attack you, so very difficult. So a nice battle gear coming to the end. Basil should be nearing the end any moment. Basil coming up to the final corner shortly. With Jason right behind him as we see Basil here taking the final corner. Jason right behind him there. And Peter Krober not far back either. So there's our 1, 2 and 3, and in the background we see Sean Olivier taking a nice 4th. So a nice solid event for Sean, the 3rd and the 4th. Dylan Fasaki actually getting the 5th place. That was close. That was very close. 0.07 basically on Tommy there. Stephen Castellan taking 8th place, Gilly taking 9th, Jandre 10th, Ross ended up 11th, so unfortunately dropping down through having to take tighter lines to avoid guys and getting involved in a bit of a battle there. Melvin taking 16th place. Dion taking 13th, Morris and Beck will get 14th, and Rian unfortunately 15th. You see the guys doing their burnouts and having a bit of fun. Alright, that was some pretty close racing there tonight. I'm going to jump to an ad break as we see Marius crossing the line. We should probably see Rian shortly. Here we see Rian. Car does look fantastic in that color scheme. Alright, as Rian crosses the line, I'm going to jump to an ad break and then go find our top 3 from each round. Each race, I should say. And then we can find out what it was like for all of them. So I'll be back with you shortly.
Yes, it's not I try and make that Civic as fucking wide as possible.
Yeah, I can see that you're
Jason, jy voel ons kan na 1 ry 2 en 3 ingaan.
Sê weer?
Jy voel ons kan na 1 ry 3 ingaan.
Ja, skies 'n bietjie reckless af en ek het vra verskoning.
Nee, sien jy, ons het almal kan survive.
Ja, ek try agter my check, langs my check en toe het ek bietjie laat gebreek daar. Maar skies.
Dis ek.
Yes, ek het jy daai laaste terwyl ek het maar gehuil hierdie daardeur jong.
Ja, ek het net daai piek wat toe jy daar inkom te check is, ai Here, jy het ek het nou opgevang.
Ja, jy het te baie gaan gemaak dink ek hier nou of nooit jong.
Oh, good win, Jason.
Maar
Ja,
dankie man,
I
dit
got a
was
second
lekker.
day. Basil caught me, I fucked up my lap, so he caught me.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah,
Mooi gedaan, Jason.
I missed the fucking corner completely and then yeah, it was over from there.
Nah, Steven, I'm glad someone witnessed the carnage and I wasn't going insane. It was probably for 15 minutes of the race and it was just absolute carnage. I actually saw you in my rearview mirror. I said you must be having such a laugh right now.
Dude, I didn't even come close. I was like, it's gonna happen eventually. And
Steven, what happened in the start of the first race?
Yes, you moved me there. Thank you.
I think I fucked you up. I think I screwed Krobler's race up. I think Kosa's race.
All up.
You had a little bit of a big bomb there. Luckily, I wasn't too badly caught up in that one, but I know you picked up Tyson.
Is there a thing lobby we must join now or what? Okay, cool.
I actually think everyone deserves to be in that movie because there's so much to say.
Mooi gereden,
I can 10-minute
Dankie
interview.
man, lekker hand.
Yo, this 50 kilo is getting out of hand now.
I saw your car was struggling, eh? Nah, it was suckling.
Well, guys, thank you very much. It was fun, as always. Appreciate it. I'm off.
Cheers, Tommy.
Thank you very much for those races. So you also kept me on my toes.
Yeah, Ross, yes, that was a nice race. First one and the second one.
Fuck Basil, yes, jy het net daai een tik, dog ek gaan jou divebom aan die binnekant toe sê van hoe is dit? Nee, ek ry lekker, maak toe.
Sorry, was eerste lap.
Ja, het was eerste lap geweest, maar moenie stres nie. Toe flippen, ek kom dus... Sorry?
Helps if I have my mic on. Welcome back, everyone. We have a few of the guys with us. That was quite an exciting race and quite a mixed up grid through the first positions in both of them. So let's start with Basil. Basil, that was a fantastic race for you. I mean, a win in both rounds. I mean, we have to start with you. Fantastic drive-through in race 2 and what a commanding victory in race 1.
Thank you, Dennis. I had a 2-second lead in the first, but yes, Dylan was pushing very hard. But luckily, the last few laps, I just kept my head and then, pulled a bit. But all in all, thank you guys. It was very nice.
Yeah, you had some fantastic pace. Dylan, looking at your pace, just talking about Basil's pace, you seemed to be the only one that was going to challenge him. And then as the race progressed, it seemed like you were sort of struggling to come through, certainly in race 2, compared to what Basil did. How did your round go for race 2?
Yeah, race 1, I have to say I was on Basil's bumper the whole, I think about 2-3 laps. And then all of a sudden I just went a bit wide. And then I started fighting with myself. And I'm doing stupid mistakes. And then I tried to push harder. And every time when I tried to push harder, I made more mistakes. And then I just said to myself, Dylan, concentrate. And then I drove back from about 3 seconds to 1 second. And then I just threw everything away about like 3 or 4 laps to the end. And then I just like, well, keep to your second, just drive and claim your second. Second race, it was quite hectic there in the start. I can't remember, I was trying to pass someone and they just swept to the left. And unfortunately my car was there, nowhere to go. Got spun there in I think it was the 4th corner, and then I had to fight my way back from Datestone last, and I came 5th. And
also just, I see in the chat, I had the voice thing active while we were between there, so sorry about that, everyone. But that was quite an exciting watching you coming through there, Dylan, because I could see also, and I mentioned at one point that you've upgraded now your pedal set to load cell pedals. And usually what that does is it makes guys a lot more consistent because they can feel a bit more. And I was expecting that, and yet you were actually having more incidents with your brakes than what you have in a while.
Yeah, I have to say it's quite funny because with the slower guys that's in front, they have much more earlier braking than what I'm used to. Well, especially with the load cell that I've noticed, you can actually brake so much more later that you can control your brakes, like you said, that you can feel when the car is gonna lock up, and with that I can brake a meter or two later. And when I come up to the slower guys, they brake so much earlier than me, and then I slam on the brakes, and unfortunately everything locks up, and that's one of the things.
These cars, once they lock up, you can't sort of roll off so easily.
Yeah, definitely.
And
Maybe just
Jason,
along with the ride.
Jason, a great race for you as well tonight. Good positions and good pace through both races actually. So how was it from your point of view?
Yeah, race 1 was as I planned. I said to the team there, I'm trying to finish in the top 5. Quite a bit of a bang there from Mr. Castellan. He dropped a bomb there in corner 3, but I managed to get it back up to 4th. Race 2 was going lekker. I also then tried one of Castellan's maneuvers and also in corner 3, so I apologize for the guys that did nudge there a bit. But yeah, I worked my way through. Eventually caught up to Grobbies, and I thought, okay, here we go. And I passed Grobbies, and eventually saw him, and yes, Basil van Rijn as well. I thought, oh shit, here we go. And then, I had I think a 2-second gap on him, and then one of the corners, I completely, rookie mistake, messed it up completely. And Basil came past, and I knew, oh, there we go, that's the W. But overall, I had a fantastic race. I enjoyed it very much. And thank you, Dennis, and your team for hosting all these things. It's really, really fun.
Thanks. Yeah, that was pretty awesome. And then, Stephen, you had quite an eventful event. Just an update on the championship points before we go any further. You're currently now you were the leader coming into this round. You're currently still the leader.
So 50 kilos still. Awesome.
Those few points that you made up towards the end there made all the difference because I think you had about a 10-point lead. You now have about a 3-point lead. And now you're leading Dylan in the championship, and Peter has dropped down to 3rd. So it's all to play for in the championship. And Dylan, your driving has now put you right, and you're actually tied you're in 2nd, but you're tied on points with Peter. But you've obviously had better results that are showing you in 2nd. So Stephen, you're currently 1st in the championship. You had an extremely eventful round. Looked like you made a mistake. I think it was into turn 1, ran wide, ended up against the barrier at some point, and had to slowly work your way forward. What actually happened there?
Same as what Dylan said. The earlier braking and the weird lines of the guys in the mid pack was throwing me off completely. Especially race 2. But race 1, I did a little sneaky move on Moss, and I took out, I think, 3 guys locking up. So I've got to apologize to Jason and Moss, I think Robler, and I'll have to go see the replay to see what I did. But race 2, I think it was Willem I was behind. No,
Willem wasn't in tonight, unless it was his ghost.
Definitely a W. Anyway, or Andre Hillebrand. Anyway, into turn 1, I braked. He braked earlier. I braked. I was like, let me go left, and it was a stupid idea, and I just went off.
Yeah, it was quite funny to watch because I just saw everyone scattering and I didn't know who had caused it, and then I saw you running onto the grass and wide, so I wasn't sure if you'd caused it or if you were one of the victims, but
the grass, it was impossible to get back on. I basically had to stop, turn and get back on. It was crazy.
Yes, it looks very slippery.
All my own issues tonight, but there's no ways I would have kept up to the pace of the guys in the front. Maybe it's the 50 kilo, maybe it's these guys are really quick, but I'm feeling outmatched for the last 2 races.
Well, your pace wasn't bad considering you had the 50 kilos, and coming from the 50 kilos last round, I could feel the effect of it. So it definitely does. It plays on your lap time, but it also plays on your consistency.
And tires, about 13-14 minutes in, it's gone.
Yes, it definitely wears quicker.
The front left was just finished from turn 1, I think it's probably.
Yeah, so to have salvaged that, I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, the next round, you never know. Now, Dylan's now got the weight as well as Peter. So your biggest challenge is now going to be Jason, because Jason doesn't have the weight and he's in 4th place.
Basil doesn't have the weight.
Yes, but Basil's further down in the championship. Basil's only 10th in the championship. So championship-wise, at the moment, Jason is your challenger. And Malvin is still there, even though he had a bad round. He's in 5th place still. So, it's still an extremely open championship.
Steve, Just stay behind me in the next race. I'll show you how it's done.
You saw what happened when I was behind you this race.
Okay, no,
Do you really
please,
want that?
cancel.
Steven, I'll help you a bit there. Don't worry.
Push me.
I have to say, can't we take these? I'll be gladly to pass my second place on to someone else just to miss these battles.
Well, what would be nice is if you could go into the final round in 4th place with like a 1 point gap between you and the next guy and a 1 point between the next guy, and then you have the advantage of no weight.
I've already been doing the maths.
That's putting it on the line though.
But I have to say this, it feels like this championship is ending out like the MX5s.
Yes.
Where the top 3, top 4 guys are like separated within like 4 or 5 points.
Yeah, it's incredibly close.
Which is, it's damn close, and it's incredibly fun.
I was actually, just doing my research for the track. I ended up watching a replay of our MX5 race here at Poznan. And it was funny, I was watching all of you guys, and most of you guys were in there. And of course, Dylan, you were fighting at the front of that, as well as Jason, and I think I saw Ross even having a good round here as well. So, and Stephen as well, you were there. So
You and I think, got pole and second.
I can't remember actually. I sort of was just watching the action in the race. I didn't actually pay attention to who was on pole, but yeah, it could have been.
But yeah, no, it's a good track. But it's a very flowing track. You've got to just get the knack.
I never actually did a lap in the TCRs here yet. Never had a chance to. But I was just saying in the commentary, it must be extremely difficult in a front wheel drive, especially turn 1, because of that hairpin that constantly tightens on you. With the front wheel drive and the understeer, I mean, how did you guys find it a problem?
I thought the MX5 was a bit more difficult.
Oh, that's interesting.
If you enter, it's a bit understeer, but then if you off throttle and
just tap the brake here and there.
I was actually just blipping the throttle a little bit in turn 1,
That's
and then
Yeah, I always found I'm more of a rear wheel drive kind of driver, but I found with the front wheel drives in a race condition, I tend to get more aggressive on the throttle, and that's when you, like with that corner, I would maybe push more to keep up because you're trying to chase, and then you get the understeer.
Yes.
Yeah. But on the inside, definitely the car seemed to turn much better if you kept it inside halfway through.
Yeah.
Especially if you hugged the curb, it actually kept the car in.
Yeah.
But then you had to well, still, if you kept it nicely. That's how I caught Basil most of the time. I hugged the curb a lot, and then I just had to keep my drive out because it tends to push the car outwards to the grass. Yeah. But if you had the line perfect, I think I made like 200-300 of a second on that turn.
I noticed with Gilly as well, he was doing something interesting where he would basically brake, and it actually looked like his inside rear was lifting off the ground. And then the car would get sideways, and then he would get on the throttle and sort of get it to go. And it was sort of turning the car nicely, rotating it on the apex.
Yes.
It looked like it went wrong a few times, though, but it was quite an interesting technique.
Dylan didn't overtake in, I'm not sure, it's the fast back section.
That was on Janneman.
The fast right into the left. You were sideways when you went past him.
Well, I was like, he was one of those guys. He was like, he kept me up with underbraking the whole time. And then I was like, I can't sit behind you another lap. And then I saw my chance on that turn. I was like, shit, this is a massively tight corner. Either I'm gonna stick it or I'm gonna mess up both our races.
No,
and for some reason, no, I didn't touch him. And I made the apex. And he made the corner. I was like, shit, well, I'm going with it.
That looked good.
Yandre is a very clean driver, but he knows where to put the car on the track, guys, really.
Yeah, I saw some good defending actually throughout the race.
Yeah.
But I must say in the second race, the guys didn't bump too much. It was actually very clean.
You weren't behind Mika and Gilly.
There was a few bumps, but all in all, it was not bad at all.
Yeah, the bumps that I saw, there was quite a lot of it, but most of it was sort of a reaction rather than someone, making a mistake. It was like one guy reacting to another guy, and then 3 into 1 doesn't go kind of thing.
And like rubbing. Yes. And I said, it's everyone's pushing to get the wider turn in, so they just want, it's racing.
Yeah, it looked pretty decent from my point of view. So guys, let's do shout-outs. Let's start with Basil. Basil, a shout-out to anyone from your point of view?
Oh, just thank you for the PZN team, and thank you, Dennis,
Pleasure.
for
Dylan?
letting us race here.
Pleasure.
Yeah, just I don't think my father's watching anymore. So if he's still watching, shout out to him. And then Dennis, to you for taking the reins there from Mornay. I think it's quite a massive challenge for you to step in for the streaming, but I have to say, well done.
Thank you.
And thanks for this massively awesome series. I think it's one of the second to the Mazda. It's quite one of the best series that
it's brilliant.
we've driven in.
From my point of view, this series, the MX-5s, and then we've got the other one in R Factor. I think that's going to be good. The BMWs, the M2. It's the same kind of thing. Those are the kinds of cars that guys need to race. These close cars make for the most amazing races. It's good to drive and it's good to watch. Jason, a shout out from your side.
Yeah, just to all the mates that I've sent the link to that's watching. Cheers to you for watching. And then another shout out to our team SSRL. I know the boys are also watching. And again, this is what Dylan and Basil said. Well done, Dennis and your team. I mean, you guys are putting on an amazing show. And I'm sure the oaks that are watching it, I mean, I've heard comments, people saying, wow, it's amazing. I mean, didn't know this existed. So, yeah, big ups to you guys. And yeah, it's flipping awesome to be here.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And also, Monet was helping us for a long time with Skinny Media, and they did a fantastic job with all the media and stuff. Unfortunately, he's not with us anymore, so we're moving forward, but we'll do our best. So thanks, everyone. And then, Stephen, shout-outs from your side? Is Stephen still there?
He's checking his dive bomb.
Just to you guys, and the new server does seem to be miles ahead of what was happening before. The streams look so good, and they feel better. So, thanks.
Yes, the server changed actually to 3 different servers, so it's nice to have one that's nice and stable now. Originally it was my server, and then I moved house, and then the server moved, and in between that, Monet took over, and his connection seemed very iffy. Fantastic. The connection now is pretty awesome. The first time we used the server, we had an issue. We sorted that out, so it seems pretty stable. Even when we have international drivers with us, the pings have been quite good. So it's great, and I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. It's nice to see, because even in a set of courses, you get a lot of this sort of yo-yoing effect with their netcode.
Almost zero tonight.
Yes, it was. I watched it stream. I saw a couple of times there were maybe 2 or 3 cars where they flickered slightly, but I didn't see a single bit of yo-yoing, and that was fantastic to see.
Yeah, it made it much easier to get close and tight.
Yes, so that was awesome. So thanks, guys. Thanks very much for everything. I'm going to just say my final say and jump into that room. But thanks everyone for joining us tonight and being a part of this.
All right, cheers.
Thanks.
Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
All right, so that's it. I'm going to say goodnight to everyone and thank you everyone for joining. And also, as I said before, if you like the content, please remember to like and subscribe. And thank you once again to Owen for all their support and keeping us going. Without them, everything wouldn't be possible. And we'll catch you on Saturday for I believe it's round 6 of the Formula 4s. I believe it's round 6 of the Formula 4s from Knockhill, which is provided by Laser Cutter exclusively to us. So we were the first people to use that track. It's a fantastic creation. So join us. If you have R Factor 2, come join us. If not, then come watch, and we will see you on Saturday. Until then, have a good evening, and thank you, everyone.